Last day of the semester. Killing it. One day closer to death. All right, man. So listen, here just a couple of house cleaning things that we got to deal with. Here are the sections that haven't turned money in: 14, 31, 35, 45, and section 50, which is 602L, like 602, I think. So you got to see Lauren after class. All right. 14, 31, 35, 45, and 602L. All right, man. Last class I talked about this class on Ojibwe that has a field trip connected to the Ojibwe Reservation in northern Minnesota. I have some handouts here with some information, but honestly, it would be the only time in your life that you would have access to indigenous cultures like this, indigenous understandings and cultures. It's really the only class of its kind. And bro, I don't have mine. All right, here. Also, we are doing this class in the summer, so online. We'll use the videos from next semester for the class. It'll be like you're taking the class, but on video, just if you know of anyone who needs to take it. Or if you need to retake it because you flunked, which is highly unlikely. How would you do that? Jeez. Okay, so remember, Sunday at noon, if you're taking it on Sunday. So if you are, you'll just leave and then we'll move forward. Also, if you have a problem with grades, don't send it, remember staff, send it to staff. Don't send it to me. Definitely don't send it through Canvas. I mean, come on, this is insane. Send it, we'll take care of it. If you have an issue that we marked something wrong, we put a lot of grades in. It's very possible we marked something wrong, so let us know. We'll take care of it as quickly as possible. Okay, cool. And just a couple of quick things, maybe in case you're wondering, because again, with the Haiti stuff, we're not going to talk about, I never talk about how much money we raise. It's just not part of the package. You don't need to know. It doesn't matter. So it doesn't become a competition. But two things. The one thing we're doing, right now, if you're following the situation in Brazil, so we're supporting project in Haiti and the education project in Haiti for the twins, and then project for kids in one of the favelas in Brazil. And things are really tough right now. So it's really awesome that through us, our collaborator, her name is Mariluz, she's awesome, is going to be able to put on this really big Christmas thing for the kids who just it's just cool. It's really cool. So maybe what I'll do is I'll get some photos back and I'll send photos to y'all over the break, maybe via Canvas or something if you're interested. But also, look at on Venmo, that's how much y'all contributed sent for Bossum, which is not going to get him here by any stretch. So, however, someone who is connected to somebody in the class decided that this person decided that they felt like it was really important that Bossum come, and so they wrote a check out to ensure that he did. So it's looking like, I was talking to Bossum, I'll see him next week or a week after next, but it's looking like he would probably come next fall. I'm thinking early in the fall would be better, and he's thinking that also. But in any case, if you still want to contribute to it, because it really is helpful, do know, and I'll put word out. But we did do playlist, 6 people did the playlist donations that go to the Haiti Brazil project. So that's the only thing I'll tell you that we raised, $90. Paid $15 for the music. So, okay, and we do have one of the groups had got a couple footballs. We did this last semester because in the springtime, Coach Franklin, past few years, has visited class, and just we talk about different things. He's really, really interesting guy. About just really cool ideas about a lot of things. So anyway, we last year for the first time we auctioned off a ball, and and people wanted to do that, and people really appreciated it. So we have 2 footballs that we're going to auction off. Peyton, dog, your group. Yeah, just come on up, man. So who's signing them?
So my friends KJ and Miles were kind enough to sign 2 footballs for us along with Coach Franklin, thanks to Sam. So we will be auctioning those off, and then you know the Venmo, so you can just say.
Yeah, and then so they're all signed by KJ, Miles, and Coach Franklin.
Correct.
And you are, you're in the boxing team, right?
Yeah.
Why are you in the boxing team? Well, how are you into boxing? I'm going to ask you in front of everybody, like, how'd you get into boxing, man?
Okay, well, I started when I was like in my junior year of high school, like undercover, because my mom like was not with that. So when you come to college, your mom really can't tell you what to do. So I tried out for the team, and I made it. You know, she wasn't really too happy about it, but yeah, here we are.
And now you box?
Yeah.
Have you ever had to use it, like, out in the world?
I mean, no, my friends have like asked me to be like, oh, you know, like, are you gonna fight? And like, I would get a felony if I got in a fight outside. So like, I don't know if I really want to go to jail, but I mean, no one's ever really tried me, so I don't know. I'm just not a fighting person, so you know.
So I have a story for you, right?
Okay.
So years ago, I had a TA who was about Amanda's size. Dude, Amanda, just stand up. I want to see. So she's about Amanda's size, okay? Come here. Just stand right here. I wanted to see. All right. So she's about Amanda's size, okay? A little thinner, okay? Got this?
Yeah.
Thanks, man. And so she was like, I forget, she practiced some Brazilian jiu-jitsu, I don't know what it is, right? But she was really skilled, and she was like multiple levels of kind of black belt kind of thing, right? She went to a frat house, frat guys. Just saying, nothing against you, I just want to lay it out to you. So she went, visited, her friend was there, and her friend, she was leaving, and this one dude didn't want her to leave. And wouldn't let her leave. And he's grabbing onto her like this with both of his hands. He's like, I'm not letting you leave. And he's trying to pull her back in the house. And her friend says, hey, bro, let her go. And my student, she was a TA, right? She just didn't say, she's like, listen, you got to let me go. And her friend's like, bro, I'm going to warn you, let her go. And he's like, what's she going to do? And he's trying to pull her in the house. And she's like, I'm going to warn you one more time. Yeah. You better let her go. And he didn't let her go. And this woman, and their friend, I talked to the friend. Their friend said, in about a nanosecond, this dude was on the ground, right? She was like, boom, 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 you know.
I've actually like sparred mostly guys. I've only sparred 2 girls.
Yeah.
So it's mainly like me fighting guys most of the time, which is like,
yeah.
And they don't really take it easy. Like when I tried out for the team, I almost got knocked out. So I like walked the wrong way home and everything. I was all like disoriented.
That's good, man. Good experience.
But I mean, we're here now, so it's okay.
Well, listen, in the future though, if like what happened in this case, the other guys called the cops on her.
On the girl?
Like, we're calling the cops, and it was like, hey man, the cops came.
And we're probably like, this is a joke right now.
No. The cops asked her, what happened? And asked her friend what happened. And the cop got her name and signed his daughter up for lessons from her. Right? And the frat dudes, what they said to the frat guys, like, you guys just ought to be ashamed of yourselves. You need to get back in the house, man. So
yeah, I know
don't worry about the felony.
More with guys than girls.
Yeah, I'm sure, man. All right, so listen. Here's the deal. So we have 2 balls, and I don't know. Like, we could just take the two highest bidders. And, like, who wants? So it's, dude. You don't know what Miles. You know, Saquon was in the class. The mistake I made years ago was when Saquon was in the class. I should have had aside like 10 balls. You know what I mean? And now we could fund the whole Haiti project. But whatever, right?
Years to come.
I'll get him to sign a couple balls next spring when they're now. But anyway, listen, man. Who's interested? Because if no one's interested, dude. Well, we're gonna start at $30, dude. 30? Anybody? Who else? Dude.
Yeah, 100. Mm-hmm.
You know, who's interested? We're gonna start at 30. Wait, should we start at 30? Is 30 fair? What's that? Dude, all right, man. How about this? Now we can't do Venmo. No, dude. No, we can't do Venmo because then you're stuck. No, because like, dude, yeah, you're gonna send them. Who? Anyone else? Anyone else interested? It's Franklin, Miles, and KJ. Dude, 30, 40,
35.
35? No, you gotta go in increments of 10, dude. All right, 40.
40.
Dude, you got increments of 10.
You have to do a
dude.
50, yeah.
50. All right. 60?
We got someone over here.
Dude.
What's
Are
your
you
number?
in? Bro, 70? We're at 60 and 70. 80? 100?
100?
Dude.
Ooh, say
All right,
that.
man. We're 180. $100 and $80.
Yeah, we have two, so if you can match
yeah,
that.
we have two, dude. Who else? Anybody else? Dude, you want to
I
go?
know y'all got the bands in here.
You could go
Don't
to-
be capping.
110. You only got to
This
go to
guy
110.
has another
I'll save
one
you
over
$5.
here.
All
What's
right,
your
110
number?
and 100. Dude, all right. 120.
You know you could resell these like it's
Dude. 130?
violent.
Dude, 130, 140.
Gotta be
Who else?
thinking.
150 dogs. Anybody? 160?
160.
160, Yo, last year, 170, 170, 160. Dude, you going? Are you in? Bro, you're in, right? 300, right? Come on, dog. 170, 160. Are you in, dog?
Yeah.
170
or whatever.
180. 180, 170. Bro, 190. You can just go higher, dude, and just blow everybody out of the water. 190. 200. Who else? This is all great.
Y'all trying to pay my
200,
tuition?
190. Anybody else?
220.
220. Dude, you still in? 220? 230. He's just going, dude. So he's going to just keep going on you.
I know.
Keep
Dog.
going.
220, 230? Dude, you don't have to. 230. 250. 260.
260.
260.
300.
300, dog. You in? 300 and 260. You'll go higher than that guy just on principle, bro? All right, 290. 300 and 290. He's going to go
include
higher
some
than you.
boxing
He's at
lessons.
310 already. You're at 320? 320? All right, 320, dude. Nah, 320. 330, 320, 340. 340. He's at 350, dog. All right, 350 and 340. You're good. 350, 340. See me after class. I'll show you how to Venmo it. Dude. Dude, by the way, I'll try to get Trace to sign it too, all right? How's that?
Thank you.
Dude, thank you, man. All right. That's my job, is I'm an auctioneer in the spare time. Yo, man, seriously, the money's going toward an awesome thing. It's really cool. So, okay, so here's what I want to do right now. I just want to take some questions. So, this is last day of class. We have a little over a half hour. Just ask some questions. I don't want to talk about specific sociology stuff. Don't ask me a question like, what do I think about affirmative action or something like that. Just throw some questions out that you want to ask. Maybe you've been wanting to ask all semester and you haven't asked. And dude, yeah, go ahead.
If we want to try to find travel opportunities, like you mentioned how much you've traveled and like how many different people you've interacted with, like what avenues should we go through?
Dude, listen, you want to go to Iraq and teach English, for example? So I'm going to Iraq. I'm going to see my buddy. There's a guy in Iraq. It's really safe where he's at, Najaf. You can stay at his house with his family, spend 2 or 3 weeks teaching English, all expenses paid, food, everything, because he just wants people there to speak English and teach English. Awesome people, man. Iraqis are amazing. You could do that. You can go to Haiti. Talk to me about if you want to go down to Haiti, like next semester. Jeff might take some people down to Haiti. I got a lot of stuff, just cool stuff, not like this travel volunteerism stuff where you pretend like you're building something and you don't really. Yeah, so if you do, yeah, it's cool. Hey, but listen, if anyone wants to go to Iraq and teach English, it's safe. I wouldn't send you to Iraq if it's not safe. Like, it's awesome, man. Really. Talk about an awesome experience. Yeah, and sometimes you just got to go. You just go, man. You don't worry about it. Somebody else, bro.
What question I can ask?
What question you can ask? Any question, dude.
Question? Can I make
Anyone.
a follow-up question of what I asked like earlier in the course.
Yeah, what was it?
So earlier in the course, I asked. This was during the lecture about the ladders with like the economics, socioeconomics of climbing up the socioeconomic ladder, and you made a statement that regardless of the college people go to, if they were born in a lower part of the socioeconomic ladder, regardless of what degree they earn, they would
on average
earn a lower income
Yes.
as they get out of college. But you really never explained why.
Well, okay, right. So it's on average. This is the last intellectual question I'll answer, because after this, okay, got it? Just because the nature of sociological reality keeps us, we learn and we enter into a world according to the culture around us, and we don't have the context, we don't have just the vision. It's like, it's so many things. It's on average. It doesn't mean you can't climb out, you can't do something else, but it just means on average you don't.
Okay.
And we got to talk about averages.
All right, got it.
Yeah, that's cool. It's a good question, though. Okay, who else has a question? Yes, ma'am.
Sam. Psst, Sam. Yo.
Oh, dude. Wayne Gang. All right, go ahead, bro.
What's your opinion on psychedelics?
Psychedelics? Well, given that they're going to be decriminalized in many places, right? My experience, I think a lot of people abuse them. A lot of people don't understand the power of psychedelics, and it's really unfortunate. Wait, dude, hang on a sec. Yeah. I think that what I see is that all drugs are an opportunity to break down certain walls and in the consciousness and open doorways that are difficult to open unless you spend a lot of time working really, really hard. So when people engage in meditation and these sorts of spiritual practices, what they're trying to do is, like in, say, Buddhism or something, and I say this from my time in Buddhist monasteries, it's like you're trying to change the way you think and experience the world, so you have some new way to access the perennial questions, like what am I doing, where did I come from, what am I doing, where am I going, these kinds of things, right? Drugs, any mind-altering substance just allows you to do that kind of quickly. It takes the wall down. Like, when your inhibitions go down, when you have a couple beers or you smoke a joint and you just sort of see some things, right? Well, psychedelics are the same thing. The problem is psychedelics are also really, really powerful. And people misuse them and they abuse them, so you're always sort of chasing the dream then. And first off, they can open up doorways in your mind that you don't want to have open. And most people aren't really prepared to have open. And so you have to be really careful of that. But for me, the first time I did mushrooms, I experienced God, right? What people would consider God. So that completely changed my life. I never was the same after that. So, but that's a different kind of, but I was ready for it. I was 26. It was a different experience. So they can be really good, but people can also misuse them. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
What was the coolest place you ever traveled to, and what did you do, and where's the worst? Take your time.
I don't have a... I don't know the coolest. I don't know. I don't know.
Your favorite place you went, you did something really cool.
The place that was most profoundly outside of my element, more than anything I ever experienced, was probably Japan.
Ooh.
And I think I don't have a worse place. But even here in the U.S., I don't have any worse, but life is too amazing, and I don't have a worse place. Yeah. Yeah. The other thing, maybe it's, wherever I go with my wife is probably the coolest thing. Yeah. Yeah. But Japan was really mind-blowing to me. Somebody else. Who else has a question? Yeah, bro. Go ahead, man.
So, who'd you vote for?
Wait, you mean the when Trump and Clinton were? I didn't vote in that election.
But why?
Because I knew that it was going to be immensely divided, that we were headed for a fracturing of society in a way that because it was potentially really, really dangerous. And my wife and I both decided that we couldn't vote. We needed to just not step into the fray. So I will say this, I have never voted for a Democrat, and I never voted for a Republican either, actually, so let's come to think of it. So, but I did not vote. It's the first time I didn't vote. Yeah, I just decided not to do that. You know. It's crazy, right? It's not crazy. Well, there's one party. It doesn't really matter, but yeah, I didn't. Yeah. Who?
Yeah, the question then is, do you only vote third party?
Well, not locally. So locally I vote for whoever, because I know candidates, so I vote for who I think is really an interesting person. So like a buddy of mine ran for the mayor of State College as a Democrat in the primary. So I switched my party affiliation for the first time in my life to Democrat so I could vote for him. And then he didn't make it, but he ran as a Republican, and so I then voted for him as a Republican. So I voted for a Democrat and a Republican twice. All right, there you go. Same guy. Somebody else. What do you got? What have you been maybe wanting to ask that you just haven't gotten the chance to ask, man?
What's your biggest fear?
My biggest fear is on my death, when I'm on my way out, that I have a negative thought when I'm going through the light. Right before I go through the light, that I actually have a negative thought. And it's really my greatest fear. It's the thing that keeps me up at night sometimes. It keeps me really trying to be focused on not being negative. Because I don't want to be going through the light and going like, oh shit. Right, I just had all this negativity, and I'm going toward. Yeah, that's my greatest fear. Yeah, it really is a fear. I mean, it does keep me up at night. Yeah.
Do you have a particular favorite strain of weed?
Yeah, whichever one
Asking
I have at the moment. Whichever one I have in the moment is my favorite. I don't really keep track. My brother's a grower, by the way, out in Oregon, so he tries to fill me in on it, but I don't know, dude. I have never.
You're no doubt very knowledgeable in the things that you say, but would you say maybe being in front of such a big class and having such a large live stream gives you like a little bit of a god complex at all?
Dude, does that happen?
Yeah, like you seem very sure about yourself a lot of the time.
Yeah, no, it doesn't really. Here's why. No, I am really sure of myself in the following sense, right? I don't try to. I know that I don't know a lot. Like I know I only know what I know, and I know one thing I know for certain is how much I don't know, and that allows me to be really sure of myself. Because the only thing I can be sure of are the things that I say. Otherwise, I can just say I don't know. I don't have any idea, right? And so I mostly only talk about my own experience, so I don't have to worry about that. It doesn't really matter. And I don't know, Yeah. Yeah, I don't have that. Yeah, bro.
What's the purpose behind the lab discussions?
But behind what?
The lab discussions.
Well, it's really interesting you say that because that's going to shift next year. I'm not going to talk about what that is, but the purpose is because the first semester I taught this class, I had all these students coming up and saying they would gather around after class because it's a race class. Anything's happen, right? There were no discussion groups. It was just a room about the size of this space right here. But they would all gather around and be arguing and talking to each other. And finally, someone said, "We need a discussion group. Could we do that?" And I said, "Yeah. Well, why don't next semester what else do some of you want to facilitate? I'll just offer it as an opportunity, right?" So like 50 students said, "All right, we'll do that." The next semester. And then we had discussion groups, right? And then it became this thing, and it was connected to the class, so people could just talk about things outside of class. Because really, what it was for me is I didn't have time. I just couldn't. I didn't have time, and they never wanted to talk to me anyway. They really wanted to talk to each other, and so that came from students saying, "We want this," right? And then we got to the point where the majority of students in class were saying, the vast majority were saying, "We want the opportunity too." I just follow students. I never come up with any innovative ideas myself, so. I'm not, so that's the purpose, just give people an opportunity. But we're actually going to shift it up a little bit, so people aren't in the same groups week after week. It's actually going to be really, I think, pretty cool.
If you weren't doing this, what would you be doing?
Working with my brother, yeah. No, I don't know, man. Anything. I'm maybe painting houses. I'm a house painter, so I like that. I enjoy that. I don't know. Yeah, bro. I wish I could answer. Dude, fuck. I don't know. Whatever I was doing, though, I'd be thinking about, I would be worrying about having a negative thought at the moment that I died. Honestly. So it wouldn't matter what I was doing.
So you never really talked about your childhood too much or anything like that, and I was just kind of curious to if there was any kind of experience you had while you were growing up or just being conditioned in general, what made you want to travel all over the place and become super Zen and all that kind of stuff.
And do what?
Speak you're obviously you're a Zen guy. You're I go to all these
places. No,
places.
I'm actually really uptight, dude.
Really?
Yeah, I'm really uptight. Jeff, am I not? Tell him how uptight I am. How many times I'll ask you the same question over and over?
He'll call me and it'll be 12:45 in the morning. What do you want? Very.
I'm very uptight.
All right, so not even the Zen, just was there any kind of moments you had where you knew that you were going to be a kind of person that travels the world and wants to experience all this stuff? Because most people obviously don't do what you do.
Look, man, here's the thing. My dad died when I was 9, right? So I really raised myself. And I grew up in a kind of a working class. There were a lot of druggies around me and stuff like that, right? And I saw where that could go. So I knew enough to be careful about going too far in a certain direction. But I also knew that I raised myself to a great degree. My mother I had full latitude. I came and went, I did whatever. And I saw how amazing freedom was. But I also saw that if you took freedom too far, you would get in trouble. So I learned that. I just happened to learn that at a young age, which was really cool. But I had the freedom to raise myself. So that was a blessing of my father dying, right? I mean, I don't know what it would have been like if he stayed around, but one of the blessings was a blessing that came out of that. And then my mother used to take me she used to like to go to various restaurants from Syrian, Lebanese, Mexican, but she always thought, she had this idea that if they didn't speak English in the restaurant, it meant it was the authentic food. So then I got comfortable engaging people who didn't speak English because I just learned that, okay, well, this is going to be the best food, right? And so then I started meeting people like that, and I just somehow it just meant it was okay. Yeah. And then I just took my first trip abroad to Spain, and I remember just walking down the street day one and saying, "This is my life now." Yeah, it was just that. And so I don't spend money on stuff. I've never had a new car. I don't go out to dinner, lunch. I save my money and I use it to travel. Yeah.
I got a question from the stream.
Yeah, man.
What is your view on Buddhism and karma?
Dude, Buddhist, I tried to be a Buddhist once. I really did. I thought it was probably best that I would be a Buddhist. But I went to a Buddhist monastery for 2 weeks, and it was so just rigid. I struggled so much that it just wasn't for me. It was like not it. So, but I love Buddhism. I think Buddhism, this place of stilling the mind, what the key to it is, the more you can still your thoughts and still your mind, the more then you can let the voice of God come in. And that's a really cool, and that's all spiritual practices are the same.
Well, then one more that is off of that, what you just said. A lot of people on the stream are asking about your religious affiliation.
I don't have a specific one, but I'm really comfortable wherever I am. So if I'm in a mosque, I can pray as a Muslim. If I'm in a Jewish temple, I can pray as I'm Jewish. If I'm in a Christian church, it doesn't matter to me. I had an experience of God. I was in a Shinto temple in Japan that I literally, my body was taken over by a spirit, and it was profoundly impactful for me. So that was a Shinto temple. And I had one other time, I was in a sweat lodge with a Native American shaman, and my body was taken over by a spirit. Crazy. I was like laying on the ground singing a song that as loud as you can't imagine. It was crazy. It was so awesome. Yeah. So, dude. So I don't have a specific one, by the way.
This kind of like ties into that, but do you believe in a heaven or a hell?
No.
So do you believe in like any kind of afterlife? Just when you die, it's over?
I think I don't know. It's so arrogant to even imagine that I know, but I have this deep feeling that hell is right here on earth. Like hell is our negativity. Yeah. Every opportunity we have to be loved and to be kind, and we don't take it. That's hell.
What was the most eye-opening experience that kind of shaped you? Like eye-opening experience that shaped you to who you are today? Taught you like a lesson?
Dude, it's probably the most ongoing experience I have with my wife. Like she and I, we are deeply in love after we've been together for 33 years, and I feel more solidly connected to her now, more so than I ever have. And that to me is an ongoing experience that has shaped me more than anything. It's actually my greatest treasure, right? That I could be in love with somebody for so many years, and it gets stronger. I'm more proud. If I could, I don't think there's anything I'm proud of, except maybe that. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, bro.
So what are your 3 keys for success?
3? Dude, I only have one actually. It's actually if you do this, it took me 30 years. Took me 56 years to really get it, and now I get it, and now I live with it. And it doesn't live in every moment, but this is it, dude. I'll give it to you. Honestly, there's nothing else you need. Here, man. By the way, every spiritual tradition is teaching this. Doesn't matter what it is. Every single one is teaching that. What I'm going to say. Whether they realize it or not, they are. Okay, so you ready? Everything that happens to us brings positive and negative. Everything. Okay? So if I turn around and give you my wallet, I give you my phone, I do whatever, you find out you just got admitted to the #1 doctoral program of where you want to go, you've been wanting to go since you were a kid, whatever the case is, everything has positive and negative. You win a trip to, all expenses paid trip to China, whatever it is, has positive, it has negative. You don't know what the positive is, you don't know what the negative is, but you know it has positive and negative. It has to. That's just the nature of life itself. So everything that we yearn for, everything, I want to open a door, I want this to happen, I want that to happen, everything it is, I know it's going to bring positive or negative. So when something happens that I don't want to happen, I know that I've averted negative. And when something happens that I want to happen, I know that I bring on positive. You see what I mean? So anything is positive and negative. So therefore what that means is I don't have to stress over the fact that things don't happen that I think I want to happen, nor do I have to celebrate over the things that I want to happen and actually do happen, because I know they'll bring negative. So therefore I can just live my life in this really cool equilibrium, and then all the negative stuff that comes my way, I just can be like, all right, cool, man, because all that negativity is bringing positive. I mean, I don't get lost in the positive, like yearning, trying to get the positive. It's like it's going to bring negative to me. So therefore, I'm just living. I'm right here in the moment. I'm never anywhere other than in the moment, and that's the key to joy, right there, man. Some of you, there's nothing else. There really is nothing else, and it takes a lifetime to live it. It's one thing to say it, but you got to live it. Yeah.
Do you have kids, or is there a reason that you chose not to have kids?
My wife has epilepsy, and the moment, I never wanted children, and she never wanted children, but the moment that we might have had kids, it's like 10 years into our relationship, we started having sex, right? Just kidding. The moment we might have, she started having seizures. And we definitely were not going to have kids with her having seizures.
So then,
wait, hang on. So we weren't going to have kids with her having seizures. And so that was like really the final decision. But our relationship is really intense. Many people would be smothered by it. So it's not like something you yearn for. Like, you know what I mean? Like most people could not live inside of, we work together every day, we sleep together, we wake up in the morning and have a coffee for an hour, at night we have a glass of wine for an hour. We're just like, we vacation together, we make love together, we're just together. Most people couldn't do that. So we really enjoy it, and we knew a child would just be like, ugh.
So what would you say?
Plus we teach, and we knew our children would become 18-year-olds and really annoying. So
what would you say? Because it's such a stereotype that women have to like have kids, and it's kind of expected, and it's kind of hard meeting people and like as a woman meeting someone and saying, I don't think I want to have kids, and most men don't take that very well.
Listen, my wife said, growing up, if she would have met women who said you don't have to have children, it's really okay, she never would have desired having children. It just would never have been on her list. Yeah, it's difficult. Dude, yes, bro. Wait, dude, go here first and then here. Yeah, bro, go ahead, man. Great, push the button up. You got it, man.
How well do you manage your time?
My time? Pretty well, actually. I have to. Would you say that? Oh, yeah, not very well. All right. You know what it is? I don't manage it really well. I'm just busy. I never stop. It's 24/7, dude. My brain never, ever quits. You can ask this guy. I'm calling him at 3 in the morning, whatever. Like, dude, I have an idea. Right? He doesn't even answer my phone anymore. So I don't manage, but I manage it enough that I wake up every day and do what I have to do. Bro.
So at the beginning of the class, you said your goal was to shift our ideas and our thoughts from one spectrum to the other.
Yeah.
I don't know for some of us whether that actually stuck or not. So I guess my question is, leaving this class for the last time, how do you suggest we continue to have these thoughts and these conversations and continue this dialogue on a grander scale?
Yeah, okay, so here's the idea. For me, what it is I just walk through every day knowing what I don't know. And so I'm always exploring. Like my phone, this right here, this is God, okay? And I just go to it and I ask God for answers to questions. I'm never not learning on it. It's just nonstop. So I'm always looking up things from people who I think otherwise. So if I see something that I think I'm going to disagree with, that's the thing I read. I'm always going for the opposite side. I'm always looking for things that I don't imagine I would agree with. And I'm always trying to meet people who I think I'm going to disagree with. And then I can go. It's always part of the package for me. Yeah. Including my wife. Yeah. All right, man.
Hi.
Wait, hang on. One right here. Bro, go ahead.
So in this class, we went over a multitude of different groups, racially, ethnically, religiously, whether it's Middle Eastern, Asian, Black, and a lot of them even had their own lectures. And so my question is from my perspective, I think we went over Hispanics the least.
Yeah, we did probably this semester, yeah.
So how come there was no major focus or like lecture for that?
You know what happens is it really depends on the class. Like about two years ago, I did 4 classes in a row on Latinos and Hispanics. It just was like nonstop, right? It just really depends on what's up. I have to feel inspired to engage at some level. So that's what it is. Maybe next semester we'll come back to it. You know, that's how it is. Yeah, so... We didn't do Native Americans this semester at all, either. Yeah. Yeah, so that's why. It's really simple. Yes, ma'am.
Hello. You haven't talked about Arabs much. I think there are some sociological ideas that are interesting about us.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
So
Is there something you can say?
Yeah. So, so I spent the last couple classes really talking about Muslims, but not talking about Arabs. So, again, it's a very similar thing. A couple of years ago, last year actually, I did a couple classes really focusing on Arabs, right, specifically, right? I looked at Islam, but I really focused on Arabs. It just depends. See, what happens is I don't ever like to do the same class over and over, so that means I have to put a new class together twice a week. 30 weeks out of the year. And that means like my brain, I'm not nearly smart enough to be able to do that. And so I have to have enough time to really have some kind of experience. So I'll come back to, like next semester. Well, my friend Rafi is coming from Afghanistan and he's not Arab, but that will provoke me into some things. Yeah.
Yes, but what do you think about us?
What do I think about Arabs?
Yeah.
Dude, here's what I'm going to say. If you ask me about the culture in the world that I feel that has treated me with the greatest kindness in the people, I would say it's Arabs. In fact, it's almost annoyingly hospitable. And this is one of my issues. I'm going to Iraq, right? It's like shit. You're gonna feed me too much. Everyone's gonna want me to do something. Everyone's gonna be just like always stepping outside themselves. And the people that don't even know me, right? It's the Arab culture is really in so many ways, probably more than any other single culture, opposite of how it's portrayed here. So the generosity and the kindness is really striking. Honestly. And this is the thing that I see in the world, right? It gets flipped around in so many ways. I would say that. Yeah. And I would say it's an Arab culture thing too, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah. I was actually going to say that when someone said where was the place I like to travel, I would say. Yeah, bro, go ahead, man.
So I got like 3 questions. The first one...
Just pick the best one, dude. Pick the one you probably think you're not supposed to ask.
All right. What keeps you motivated, and at what point in your life did you decide that you want to teach? Like, what gives you your passion for teaching?
Dude, first off, I never wanted to teach, ever. I still don't want to teach. Like, I'm not teaching. All I am is I'm just coming here and talking out loud. Honestly. I'm just talking to myself. So I wake up and I say, what do I want to think about today out loud in 100 Thomas? And that's what I do. It's not teaching to me. I'm just talking out loud. So I would say that. And so my passion is trying to discover some things that I haven't discovered before. That's what I'm passionate about. Seeing the world differently. I know that I want to get to some kind of truth, and I don't know what that is. Yeah. Yeah. Now hang on, let me go to this dude.
What's your favorite book?
Book?
Yeah.
Dude, Siddhartha.
Okay.
By Hermann Hesse. It's the only book I've ever read more than 3 times. It's the only book I need to. If I was on a desert island, it's a 120-page book. Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse is the only book I would take with me.
Cool.
Hermann Hesse, 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 I guess, if you're German. I don't know. Seriously.
Okay. So, what do you think about polygamy?
Polygamy? Dude, if it's a man having multiple wives, I think it's insane, dude. I can hardly handle one, so I don't know why anybody would want to do that. Honest to God. But I think it's cool if you are engaged at that level. There's no reason to have two people who are in love. That's a Western idea that is just a recent idea. There's no reason for that. You know what I mean? Yeah, dude.
You say like your brain is always
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay. You say your brain is always going and stuff. So do you get enough sleep? Like how much sleep do you get?
I get a lot. I actually recently have been getting about 8 to 9 hours of sleep because I just like go at it, and then when I wake up, my eyes open and I go.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead, man.
Do you have any tattoos?
I don't.
Really?
Yeah, I'm afraid to have a tattoo. I'm not afraid. I just don't like want something permanent on my body. Earrings are cool because I don't know. I almost got a tattoo. We had a dog for 16 years. His name was Roshi. It means teacher of monks. And so I asked many, many different people who speak Japanese and write Japanese how to write it out. And I got many, many different variations of it. And I was never confident that they had the right one. And I wasn't going to put something on my arm that said like, red pickup truck or something. I don't know. In Japanese, you know what I mean? So I almost did it. I almost put his name after he died. But yeah, no, I don't have any tattoos. Yeah, bro. Oh, wait. Can you go up? Wait, do you have a question?
Got it. Okay. If you could have dinner with anyone living or alive, what would you eat?
Living or dead?
Alive. Oh my God, it's final season. I'm sorry.
If anybody.
I had one job.
No, hang on. If I could have dinner?
I messed it up. Yeah.
What would I eat or who would it be?
What would you eat? Yeah.
I would probably be at my brother's house. Once again. Huh. Dude, can I just tell you? Okay, kui is, okay, one of the delicacies that the only thing I ever yearn for sometimes is kui, and kui is guinea pig. Kui is a Quechua word. So in, Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, do you eat kui in Bolivia? Yeah? Okay. So guinea pig, that's the thing that I want to eat more than ever. I had a lot of kui in my life. Yeah. Guinea pigs are good, by the way. If the end of the world ever comes and you have your guinea pig and it's all you got left, cook it up, my friends. Yeah, bro. Tastes like chicken.
Where's one place that you've never been that you want to go next? And how many countries have you been to in total in your life?
I don't know how many countries I've been to, maybe like 45 or so. I don't know. Not very many, actually. But I want to go to China. I've never been to China, bro. I'm going to go probably next year. I've never been there. Just never had the opportunity, so I will go. Yeah. Yeah, man.
So towards the beginning of the year,
I like two more questions. Go ahead.
Okay. I forget exactly what you said, but you said you wanted to be like some sort of musical performer, like a rock star, a musician, or something like that.
Yeah. No, I wanted to when I was young.
When you were younger.
I obviously didn't succeed.
Yeah.
But that's why we play loud music before class, because I can pretend. Yeah.
Do you think that in some way, because you kind of just like run around and like yell your opinions and, you know, like this is kind of like the you show in a way. Do you think that this is you like fulfilling that dream?
No.
Not in like a rude way. I just
No,
am curious.
I got you. Nah, it's not. I don't think it is actually. This is too. No, because look, first off, I'm a drummer, and I always had lots of cymbals. I always wanted to be behind my drums, and I never wanted anyone to see me. So my musical side is to be hidden, right? And so that's how I really got into the music in that way and remained hidden. So, yeah. So it's a very different thing. Yeah. All right, man. Last one. Go ahead, bro.
Sam, so if you could change one thing about how the world works, like an institution, like an idea everyone has, like what would you change about how people acted?
I would want people to understand that their positioning in the world, sociologically speaking, is largely not of their making. Yeah. That's the one thing I would change. All right. Hey, listen, man. Thanks for an awesome semester. I had a really great time, and give yourselves a hand. And